Hello guys and girls and welcome back. It's Big John here. The app's at the bottom of the screen if you like to listen to my music. So is all the relevant information I'll be speaking about in this video. And today what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be explaining part of the Pip Hunter University, which is going through each part of the Pip Hunter trading system on TradingView, which was created by Taylor Bright. I'm going to be explaining today what the Pip Hunter baseline indicator actually does. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so as you can see on my chart right now, I'm looking at the Pip Hunter baseline overlay. I'm just going to go into settings and then I'm going to come back to the chart to go over some of the factors that we're going to be looking at that are built into this system. Okay, so now we're in our input settings. So just to go over some of the things that are here, some things are built into the system. You won't really see too much changes. If you do change them here, some little things will change, but I don't change any of these generic settings here. There's only 2 or 3 things I change on this actual page, as Taylor has set up the system very good for what it is. So unless you want to get really creative, that's when you'll start changing this stuff. But let's just go on to what we've got here. So we've got the fast period, we've got a slow period, we've got an ATR period. These are moving averages. The ATR period as well, something that's built in, and an ATR multiplier as well. You can take wicks into account with your ATR multiplier that he has added here. You can show buy or sell signals as well, which is here. If you see right here, that's the plus sign. So when the plus signs appear, that's giving you an indication that you're getting into a possible bullish trend. And then you have to wait for this to align to be full green, and then you can start to take buys from here. It's not the only signal that you will use, but I'm just showing you what adds up to the system. I have given many strategies on how to use Pip Hunter. Some is not with all of these settings, but I'm just giving you a run through of what everything is. You've got highlight state as well. You've got another ATR period here, which is 20. You've got an ATR multiplier, which is 1.5. And there's 2 ATR multipliers, as you can see inside this. This is another one. Once again, all built in to what is coded within the baseline overlay. So you can switch ticks on, show buy and sell signals, show pivot points, and switch this one on. Usually I just have most of these on anyway. Why this one here out of all of them is really good, because as you can see, it gives me my lower lows and lower highs. So you don't really need to put on show pivot points if you have got the lower highs and lower lows, because that basically is the pivot points being created, as you can see. So it tells me this is a lower high, so I can see what's happening with market structure. Now this is a pivot length left hand side 15, pivot length right hand side 15. This basically means that this will appear after 15 candles have formed in front of that. That's when you'll get this sign telling you market structure has formed. So you can change this to like 5 and 5 if you want. But you'll notice you'll get a lot more lower highs and higher lows when this happens, which can cause some type of confusion depending on the time frame that you're working on. Of course, if you go to a higher time frame, it might make it better for you. But when you're on a lower time frame, it can make it a bit more difficult. As you can see, you've got lower highs and higher lows everywhere. It doesn't mean they're not forming, it just means it makes it a bit more difficult to understand market structure. So a better understanding might be to make it higher or lower. Once again, it's something that you have to play with to see what makes it better for you to be able to trade Pip Hunter. So we'll just leave that on 15.15. You can also show the support and resistance level extension. So this tells you a lower high had formed here. Not until it breaks this area, basically, are we going into an uptrend. And here, not until we break this area, once this had clicked into place, are we going into a downtrend. Which once again, this will be on the basis of if the market was now to form 15 candles from here and then go down and break this level, you know you're breaking structure. So you're going into a downtrend instead of the uptrend is going into. You can also show the channels if you want to. Some people like to have this instead of the other things. So you can show this, which helps. So you can see when the market broke here, it came up. And when it came back down here, you can see, came back into a downtrend, stopped around here. You can have that as well. You can have arrows on for alerts if you want to. And you can also switch on the fractal break arrow alerts if you want to. Me personally, I don't really use these two, but you can use them. If they're on, it's not something that I'm looking for as a confluence. More for me, it's a break of market structure. Neither do I use this as well, so I switch this off. And now you've got a Fibonacci period level, so that's the Fibonacci here. You can make it bigger. If you figure out what a daily Fibonacci period might be, you can put the numbers in there and this will change it and make them wider. And you can make it smaller if you want it to be a 15-minute chart, etc. I just leave that as default. As you can see here, we have a trend time frame for an uptrend and a downtrend, and you can see it's 1440. So what this actually does is this is showing us right now what we have up here. So it tells us, just like it would do with the teamer as well, it's like another teamer, but so we don't have so many on the chart, you've got like a nice symbol here. So you could use this instead of the teamer, which is here. I'll go through the teamer later. So you can change this in minutes to whatever it wants to be. So you can change it to 15 minutes, which now you'll see I'll have loads of them. You can change it to 60. You can change it to 120 if you want to. You can change it to 4 hour. Or you can change it to 1440, which is daily. So what we have here is a Williams alligator. This is a custom Williams alligator. We can actually change this one if we want to a different time frame, because it is multi-time frame as Taylor set it up for us. We're on a 4-hour chart, so same as symbol mean it's showing us a 4-hour trend right now. But if we want to go to a higher time frame, you shouldn't really go to a lower time frame if you're on a high time frame. So you want to go to anything above 4 hours. So we can go to a 6-hour chart and we can see how a 6-hour alligator is looking. We can go to an 8-hour alligator if we want to. We can go to a 12-hour. If you notice, the alligator is changing basically. So, and it's telling us that the daily trend for an alligator is still bearish here. It's not yet bullish. Of course, you have to work with this depending on your time frame. If I was on this chart, usually I leave the alligator on same as symbol. But what I would do is the teamer would give us the same thing as well. So we can change the teamer to a 6-hour teamer. You see this will get bigger. We can change the teamer to a 8-hour teamer. We can change it to a 16-hour teamer if we want. Or we can change it to a daily teamer. So I would do something more based like this. So I have my teamer on a daily chart showing me a daily trend, which is this here. I'll have my alligator on a 4-hour trend, which is same as symbol. So then I'd be able to see that, okay, the daily trend is kicked in here, right here. And I can see that now the 4-hour trend is also bullish as well. So now I could be looking for buys coming up here. I even had a Pip Hunter buy star here. So I could have got in here and bought this all the way up on gold. You also have a fast period here, which is a 27. You have a fast range, which is a 1.6, a slow period, which is 100, a slow range, which is 2. And you have the time trend. You have the trend time frame bottom dots. This is a 2 and a 7 moving average crossing, just like a TDI, but we've got multi-time frame analysis. So if we want to see on a 4-hour chart, if a daily 2 and 7 is moving, we'd be able to see that. These are dots that appear at the bottom of the screen, as you can see here. So it's told me the daily trend had turned bullish here. So not only have I got this teamer moving average, that's what the teamer is. It's basically a moving average crossing over bullish, a daily one. I've also got the 2 and the 7 moving average bullish crossover here, just like a TDI. And then at the same time, I can see my 4-hour trend is kicked in. So this is giving me a strong confluence. From here on, everything is bullish. Even I had a plus sign up here. So if we go into the style settings, what we have here is we have a slow moving average, which is this white one here. We have a fast moving average, which is the yellow one here. Now what that is that's the baseline. When the baseline actually crosses over, you can see the white and the red. It's telling you that the baseline is going to turn red, and we're most likely going into a downtrend. Depending on market structure, we'll be going into a downtrend. Or however you have the system set up, you know, if you set up in such a good way, you'd be able to see straight away that as soon as this happens, we're going straight into a downtrend. Then what you have is your bottom fast chop filter. You have your bottom fast chop filter here again. You have your bottom slow chop filter and your bottom slow chop filter here. So you can see, so the chop filter, what it does is it means that here is not really a good trading time to trade. As you can see, the market was very choppy. But as it came to this point here, you can see that the market became a bit more solid, and that's why the color turned solid as well. And that's what the chop filter does. It does it in a bullish trend for you being green and a bearish trend for you being red. This is what it does for you. So that's what the chop filter does. The bar color is to indicate pullbacks in the system. So right now you'd be able to trade a buy, let's say from here. But here is not a safe place to get your buy entry, because it's telling you that you need to wait for the market to pull back first before you get a buy. That's literally what's happening. So it's like here, you wouldn't have bought, you would have waited, and then now you would have probably gotten your buy around here. If you got your buy around here, you'd be able to catch it here. And the grayish color means for the bullish buys, pullbacks happening, so be careful. And the white color means for the bearish pullbacks happening, as in right here, as you can see. It's telling you not to get in here. You've missed it. If you didn't get in from this candle close, then you've kind of missed it here, basically. So that's what that does. We'll just turn this off so it doesn't confuse anything. And now you've got your buy and sell label, which is the plus. So once this kicks in, it's telling you basically you're going into a buy trend, just like an uptrend would, just like a teamer would. It's giving you that type of signal. You've got your short take profit and your long take profit. That's what the flags are. So it's basically telling you that if you got up to this point here for a buy, possibly look to take some profit off the table around here, and vice versa for a sell. If you were selling, it's telling you there was one flag right there. Let's see if we can find a better flag. So let's just say if you was selling from here, it was telling you that look to take some profit off the table here as the market's going into pullbacks. That's what these are. These are your higher lows, lower high symbols, as you can see, as I explained earlier. You've got that there. And then you've got your high pivot and your lower pivots. That's just if you put the pivot settings on there, but we don't have them on. This is for this, the market structure break. So to tell us that if the market was to break any of these levels, we're going into an uptrend or a downtrend. This is if you have the chaos channels on, but which we don't have those, the fractal channels, so I switch them off. That's just to change the colors there. You know, the one that was the long line that was going green, the one that was going red as well. This is if you wanted to change your Fibonacci, if you wanted to switch it off. That's what this does. This right here is just for the high and the low of the Fibonacci, as you can see. And this is for the uptrend, downtrend signals right here. So you see the uptrend, downtrend signals that were there before. See? Right there. This is for the alligator. So if you want to take off some of the lines within the alligator, if you don't want them on your chart, maybe you just want the cloud. You don't want the alligator lines. Maybe it's too much for you. You can switch them off if you want to. This is for the support and resistance line around the teamer. You can switch that on and off if you don't want it there. If you just want the color, if it's too much for you. This is a long star. So a long star meaning that once this star forms, you could possibly take a long position depending on what you're looking at, market structure, etc. So you can see it gave you a nice signal from here. You'd have waited for that candle to close. You would have got in here. Obviously use good risk management because pullbacks can happen, and then you could have been able to hold your trade all the way up to here. Doesn't mean you can just go on the stars alone. Don't just look at stars and think, yes, I can enter trades. You know, like here, it's a sell, it's a sell. No, pay attention to other things that are happening. Here might not have been too safe because the trend was still a downtrend. Here, it was an uptrend, so you wouldn't look for a sell here, even though a star came in here. Yep. Then this is the 2 and the 7 moving average cross, the dots right there. You can switch them on and off. Now here's the plot background for the alligator. You can see you can switch this one off. And here's the one for the teamer. So that sums it up, guys and girls. This is how you would understand what is in the Pip Hunter baseline overlay. I'm going to be going over all the parts of the Pip Hunter system to give the best understanding I can from even the knowledge I know to explain what is what when it comes to the Pip Hunter system. And I hope it helps out a lot in terms of maybe clarifying if you'd like to purchase it, or clarifying if you're a bit lost, if you already have purchased it and you want to know a little bit more. From time to time, we do Zoom meetings, explaining some further things about Pip Hunter, things to come and stuff like that, and questions people might have. But overall, we are trying our best to make sure that anybody that is using the product, is getting the best they can out of it, really. And that's what Taylor is really doing as well. So yeah, I hope it does sum up everything I can about the baseline. And from now, let's get these pips. Peace.